Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So just a heads up, this is going to be a really different video that I normally like to do on here. Normally I like to go on adventures, and show you guys super amazing things. This is not one of those videos. In today's video I'm going to be talking about my experiences and other people's experiences. So I really don't have anything that I can really show that goes with this. So it's going to be me talking about the topic and what I think could be going on. And I want you guys to comment down below what your guys' thoughts are of all these things I'm about to talk about. Uh, so I'm going to be talking about the place where I live, Keene. Keene, New Hampshire, is well, I think it's really only considered a city because of Keene State College being here, but I would call it a small town. Um, it's a really tight knit community. Uh, Places are pretty close by for the most part, but to get to any like fun things like concerts and like cities and whatnot, you have to travel at least an hour, hour and a half away, whether you're going north to Manchester, New Hampshire, or going south into Massachusetts. So there's not a lot to do really for fun around here. Being a college town, there is a lot of partying and drinking and drug use, and with that, there's also a lot of homelessness and things of that nature. Um, and what I want to talk about is it seems like there's a blanket of darkness over the city here, over the town. I'm about to explain a little bit more why I feel that way. Uh, so first, I'm going to be talking a little bit about history here, because kind of when I way back about 10 years ago or more than that now, when I dove into the history and found this information out, it kind of solidified what I was already starting to think, and then hearing this kind of was the nail in the coffin. Okay, there's something not right here. So there's a really well-known family here, the Colony family. They have a few different houses that are still historically protected. I guess you want to call them historically recognized and protected. I don't know if that's the right wording, but you know what I mean. Around town, there's the main house on Main Street. It's across from the post office. If you don't know Keene, then uh, it doesn't matter. But they do tours, history tours and stuff and whatnot. I was actually able to do a tour way back years ago, and it was really awesome. And I'd love to do it again. And I really would like to do a video. However, they don't allow filming and stuff, but I'm going to try to change that because this is for an educational purpose. So I'm going to try to maybe uh, try to get in there maybe for next year and see if I can do a whole video on it. But anyways, the Colony family, and the cabins that I was at in last week's video, it's their family that I'm talking about. Horatio Colony. Um, it was the Horatio Colony house I was just talking about. So, um, and I was also talking about the Keene Public Library. Uh, Actually, I don't think I mentioned it too much. I mentioned it in that video a little bit. So it was Henry Colony who owned the building, that the mansion that is now since turned into the Keene Public Library. Um, so Henry Colony, and then the place next door, now it's called Heberton Hall. Now it's part of the library. It used to be a Freemason temple, a Masonic lodge, or whatever you want to call it. And before that, it was a mansion owned by a man named Henry Pond, who unfortunately took his own life. He hung himself up the balcony. I'll get more into this a little bit later on into the video. Going back to the Colony family, there's the Colony Mill here, and it was them and the Faulkner family that co-owned this woolen mill. It then became, it was almost like a shopping mall, a mini shopping mall, and then those, all pretty much everything all either closed or moved out of there, and it has now been transformed into apartments and whatnot. So kind of pricey apartments, but they look really nice. From what I saw anyways, pictures, I've never been inside there. I haven't seen the transformation, but anyways, this isn't about that. Back to getting off topic again. Getting back to the Colony family. Upon further research, so I was specifically doing more research on the history of the Keene Public Library. When I found all this information out, I had went to the Historical Society looking through books, and one of the things that really caught my attention, and I'm sure it would catch your guys' attention too if you guys read this, every man in the Colony family died outside of Keene, A, from either suicide, or B, unnatural causes. That is the part that really kind of grabbed my attention. Why? That just sounds very suspicious to me. Unnatural causes, or suicide, and all happened outside of town. They died, even though they lived here, they all died out of town. So I thought that was very strange, really strange. Now I'm going to jump back more into present day, and then I'm going to go back more to the history again afterwards. So I noticed a lot since in the time that I've moved here with myself and others. Shortly after me and my mom moved up here, we went through hardships. I'm not going to get into those details, but my mom ended up falling and breaking her hip, and pretty much things went downhill from there. She went out to move the car for the person plowing the snow, the driveway. It was like a dirt gravel driveway. It wasn't paved, so it wasn't a good in the wintertime. It was always really icy. So she went out to move her car for the plow guy, and she slipped and broke her hip. And that's kind of when things went downhill for us. And more things happened too. I lost my aunt. I think it was 2011. So that was really hard for me. I don't know if that had anything to do with this curse of Keene, but it was definitely added to that layer of pain and sorrow that we went through. So there was a lot of things that happened. So we were living in this one particular place. I'm not going to... The house was haunted. Not that it had anything to do with the story, but back then I kind of wondered if it was or not. But honestly, now that I know more, I have a different theory, which I'll get into later on. But there's so many things have happened to us. We finally moved to a better place, and about a year and a half or so after my mom passed away from COPD, um, from her smoking and drinking. Again, I don't know if that had anything to do with this curse of Keene or not, but it definitely could have been. Uh, so I don't know about that. Uh, I don't really care about my experiences or as far as that goes. But kind of what made me more concerned is seeing other people that I've gotten to know. And it was all people who moved here from other places who weren't originally from the area here. All stuff that happened to people who originally came from out of town and moved here from somewhere else. I noticed people go through a lot of pain and sorrow and misery. They go through death and sickness, things of that. I had one friend who uh, he was a drunk. I will say he was a drunk, and he wasn't the greatest. He was in his late 30s at the time of knowing him, and his liver was already in bad shape from his drinking, whatever. But he was out alone. I wasn't with him this night. I don't know what happened, but I guess he met this chick, this female, and I don't know what happened. I guess they went back to her apartment and did it sexually. I don't think I need to say more on that. I think you know what I mean. And again, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. So, but me knowing how my friend is and how he acts when he's drunk, I could see, you know, where this was going. Um, Apparently, she claimed the R word, RAPE, that. And again, being the drunk that I knew he was, I really can't say he was right or wrong, but knowing that, I I'm like, okay, well maybe he did. It's believable. So I didn't really think anything of it. He ended up going to jail for that, and he did 8 months in in jail. Uh, and then this lady that accused him of that, I guess, did it to someone else actually, and they finally realized that she was crazy or whatever. It's her problems, not. Uh, Anyways, they dropped my friend's charges, and after 8 months of being in jail, they let him out and dropped all of his charges. So, which was great. I'm really glad that my friend didn't have to go through all of that and uh, have to have that on his record. But um, before it even got to that point, just his story was all over in the local paper and stuff, and everyone in the community grew to really hate him for that. And I don't think that was really fair, um, because that's not who he was. That's not the person that I knew of him. I just know that he did have a drinking problem and wasn't always making the best choices when it came to his interactions with other people. But he wasn't this low life scumbag that people were making him out to be. And then you know, when after he was arrested, it wasn't fair for him. So he went through that, and he's not from around here. Um, I since have lost contact with him, and I don't even know what happened with him if he's even still alive. But I hope if he's still with us, he's doing well. Um, I think about him often, but um, knowing his drinking problems, I know that there's a high chance that likely it could not be. might not be the case, uh, and that's what worries me. But so that was one of the big things that I've noticed. He's not from around here. Other people that I know that moved from out of town here had very similar things happen to them, uh, where things were just kind of had everything stacked against them. Um, I know someone, I have a good friend, Jeff, who I know. He came here for college. He used to be a student at the Keene State College. Unfortunately, he fell into drugs, drug addiction, and heroin, and that's ultimately what killed him. After he had moved back down to Massachusetts to live with his family, to try to get help, and he was doing really well. And then, unfortunately, it was uh, he had really long talks with me like a week prior to his death, knowing uh, you know knowing he needed help and just feeling really stuck and not really knowing where to get the help. And we talked on the phone for hours this one day and just talking about stuff, and it was really sad to see this happen. Like a week after that conversation, he was found in his car, slumped over, and it was too late. He had already gone. He'd already passed when I think it was the police that found him sitting in his car. So that really hit me hard. He was a really good friend of mine. He wasn't anyone I had to worry about. I was able to trust him. He wasn't like your typical druggy friend that would betray you and steal stuff and all that. He was a total opposite of that. Uh, he was very quiet about his drug use. He wasn't very open about it, and um, yeah. So that happened to him. And then other people I know that that stuff, similar stuff happened after they moved here. Just kind of their whole world falls apart in some way, shape, or form. There's another family here that moved here. I think it was last year, maybe. I don't know. Moved here from somewhere in upstate Vermont, and I think this happened before they moved. I don't know. Her son was in a bad accident or something, and is now has a traumatic brain injury and can't speak or walk or talk or anything on his own. He has to be taken care of. Needs 24/7 care. I don't know when that happened, if that was before or after they moved here, but they had that happen to them. And just recently, month and a half, 2 months ago now maybe, unfortunately their daughter was being bullied at school, and because of that, she she unalived herself, and unfortunately did not make it. And that kind of goes with these things this pattern that I've noticed happen to people who move here from other places. I feel like there's I call it the curse of Keene, or the Keene curse. And this is why I really wanted to do a video talking about this, because I really feel like there's something going on here cursing people. And I know there's a lot of other things and other people that have stuff that had stuff happen that I'm forgetting about, but I've pretty much touched based on the bigger things that I do remember, and to get my point across, what I've noticed. So here's my theory on this whole curse of Keene. What I feel might be going on here. So people, before this land was called Keene, it was owned, the Native Americans that used to settle here in this area was the Abenaki tribe. And the Abenaki tribe and Wampanoag or whatever, this general area. And I feel like maybe that this curse is connected to this land. I think there might be a Native American curse on this land because people came and disrespected their land and quite possibly, most likely, buried on the burial grounds, wherever that was. But there had to have been. There had to have been somewhere. And I know how things goes because people. Keene was built on their land over the years. It has formed. When it started off as just a little tiny village and grew into a town, and now it's a little city. I think this land is cursed from the Native Americans, and rightfully so. So I can't necessarily blame them for putting a curse on this land, because it's all about respect, and I can understand it 100%. But that's my theory on why Keene might be cursed. And I was talking about in one of my previous videos, a bridge here, a Stone Arch Bridge. I sensed Native Americans intuitively, psychically. I heard Native American drumming and chanting at this bridge, and I felt like there's a spot by the river there by that bridge. It would have been being close to water. That would have been where they probably settled, and that was also where the center of Keene used to be originally, before they built the town. The village that was Keene used to be right into the intersection near where that was, along the river, and the intersection is also used to be where the first burial ground here in Keene was, and they moved all the graves that they were able to recover. They moved to another cemetery here, right, the Washington Street Cemetery, actually right across the street, down the street a little bit from my house. So that is the Keene curse, and why I feel like there is a curse over Keene. And I felt like this was I really wanted to do a video on this, but I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to do it, and how I was going to explain things. Especially when I do my videos, I like to show things with my videos, and unfortunately this video is not one of those videos where we're out adventuring, and there's really nothing I can show you guys for this video. So it's just me talking. And so if you're still here and you're still listening, I appreciate you for listening to me talk and blabbering on and on and on. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing the story that I had to say, and I'm curious what you guys think of the Curse of Keene. And do you think my theory is right with having a Native American connection? Because that's the best thing that I can think of, why there might be this darkness, this blanket of darkness over Keene. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please like the video if you haven't already. Helps the algorithm a lot. Share this video out if you think, other people, if you enjoyed it and you think other people will too. Share it out. Subscribe to the channel. God bless, guys. Stay dead, my friends. I'll see you in the next video.